Welcome along, everybody. We are back for more ALR Silver action, and we are here for round 14 of the season here in Belgium. Spa-Francorchamps is the host for tonight's race, so looking forward to seeing what the drivers can do tonight. It is going to be an exciting one. We've had a few upsets already, as we saw in Gold last night. There was a few issues there for lots of drivers there, tackling Eau Rouge, Radion, and to be fair, most of the circuit as well. So we'll go back and watch that one if you've got a few more minutes. But after Silver, of course, we are live here in the Ardennes Forest for tonight's feature, and stay tuned for some action tonight as well. So looking forward to seeing how it's going to unfold in this one. Of course, we've got the qualifying format to be done, or to be completed first and foremost, and we have started a bit earlier, which is nice. Good news for myself. I can go to bed earlier as well. But here comes Gordo now to start the first flying lap of the circuit, the longest circuit in terms of the distance, that is, on the calendar as well. So actually, I think maybe potentially in terms of lap time as well. Overall, hopefully in the dry, that is. Of course, we have a lot of wet races in Silver, so we're going to be hoping, we'll find out potentially from the comment section, hoping that it's going to be a nice and dry race once this 15 more minutes of qualifying has ticked down. Of course, once the qualifying is done and dusted, we'll be back straight away for the race itself, and we'll be getting straight into the action. 22 laps tonight around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. So we'll stay tuned for that coming up in 15 minutes after the qualifying is done and dusted. Of course, Gordo there coming through now into the last parts of, well, the first parts of Sector 2, I should say, through the corner now of No Name there, that left-hander there, making sure he don't go too wide and invalidate. He's almost got his left tyres there off over the curb there, but he's managed to keep it in track limits, thankfully. Now into Pouillon as well. He's managed to keep it very nicely through there as well, has Gordo. Of course, scoring his first points of the season in Hungary last week. So looking to capitalise now and really bring the momentum along with himself and that Alpine outfit to get some good points, I said, for the team. But unfortunately, in real life, we saw the Alpine, we saw the races. I don't know if anybody's got any spoiler alerts, but fingers crossed I can just let this one fly. But spoiler alert, in the actual Grand Prix in Bahrain, of course, that we had on Sunday, yesterday, it wasn't all too rosy for the Alpine outfit. So Otmar is hopefully looking for Gordo and for Dopey Lemons there to put in a good performance there to bring the Alpine back up to where it should be. And we'll see what they can do in this qualifying first, and then of course the race just after. Gordo there does a 45.6 there for the first time to set on the board as a bit of a banker lap there for himself and for everybody else there to set their sights on and see what they can do there from this part of the race. He doesn't want to park there though, to be honest, because he's going to get a blocking the pit lane exit problem penalty, something like that. Anyway, Dylan there goes faster still with a 44.0 there. Good stuff, of course, from the race winner, as my headset has decided to disconnect. The race winner there, of course, from the Hungarian Grand Prix as well. His first race winner of the season there is Dylan in the Williams. And actually, as I found out after the race as well, an interesting stat there for ALR this season. It's the first Williams win, I believe, unless a reserve was won in the Williams. But the first full-time Williams win anyway this season so far. So fantastic credit there for Dylan there, doing a great job there in Hungary as well. He was chased all the way by Brabbitt, who Brabbitt unfortunately not here tonight. He is having had a few issues there. I think actually he's not got a few issues. He's unfortunately fallen ill on the eve of the Grand Prix tonight. So unfortunately he's not going to be able to take part in the race or the qualifying, that is. So Brabbitt there was P2 in Hungary last week, but unfortunately not taking part tonight. In his place we've got Wilson there, who was out on a lap, or on an out lap I should say, literally opposite way around. Beaton unfortunately has invalidated his time. Pot stuff is still going though. He's gone through Pouillon into sector 2 now, into the dreaded chicane. We saw quite a lot of people in Gold yesterday bin it around this sort of area of the track, losing the traction on the curb there on the exit and then spinning off to the left, much like the Alfa Romeo did in, I think it was 2019, I think it might have been 2020, because of course we saw them, that was when George Russell got collected by the Alfa Romeo that was spinning. I think it was Giovinazzi, wasn't it? But yeah, there was a lot of people there off off the circuit in gold last night in that around that area. So we'll have to wait and see. Fingers crossed the silver drivers can negotiate it a lot smoother. Around goes the Red Bull there into the bus stop chicane and up to the line. A very smooth time indeed from Potstaff there. 43.7 there, puts himself P2. East though has just finished the lap as well. 43.6 there. He's about 300 faster than the Red Bull there at Potstaff. So good stuff indeed from East there. But both the Red Bulls their reflection as well in P4. Looking good indeed, as though Equaz, I should say, has now come across the line there to beat them both. Beat them all, I should say, with a 43.6 as well, up into P1 as it stands for Equaz there. Equaz currently P2 in the championship. Fanjo there is also on track, or on an outlap now, but he is P3 in the championship now. And Nigel, who was having a sabbatical, wasn't he? Was Nigel, as he has got himself onto the track now as the AlphaTauri driver. But he's got himself back from his holidays as well. He had 3 weeks off. Of course, one of them was one of our break weeks, but he missed, unfortunately, the Hungarian Grand Prix and the one before that. I think it was France, wasn't it? So he missed those 2 Grand Prix, and now he's trying to make up the difference now. They have been able to get in a few points, but unfortunately not capitalise on the absence of the championship leader, Fanjo and Equaz. They've been fighting amongst themselves mostly in the last 2 races, unfortunately for them, so they haven't been able to capitalise on Nigel's absence in the last 2 Grand Prix. But we'll see what they can do now once now the champion is back. Todd is back out on a lap. And looking like we're going to try and get a lap time in on this occasion. Unfortunately, Wilson is on track as Favre and Fanjo. Fanjo is just starting a lap time there, isn't he, as well? So we'll come back to Fanjo later on in the lap. Let's have a look and see if Reflection's going to come into the pits or go on finish another lap. He's done that, dusted. That is P6 for the time being for the Red Bull driver. Camaro there in P4. Has set a good time there indeed. Oh, he's sliding around there, like I said, exactly where I was saying yesterday was a bit of a problem there in gold. He's sliding around the corners there, and that is exactly what you don't want to be doing. And sliding around any corner is going to warm up those tyres, overheat those tyres, and of course increase the tyre wear on those tyres as well. So he's managing to on the qualifying, doesn't matter too much, but he's managing to get himself back to the pit lane in one piece as well. I think Todd there is cruising past an Aston Martin. The only Aston Martin on track at the moment is Equaz, who is coming back in after his flying lap attempt. So that is him done dusted. Wilson has jumped up to P10 there. Danny, who was Grimmy in disguise, basically Grimmy's a former PSN. Now it is Danny. And he is in P11 at the moment at 56, 1 minute 56 there. I don't think that's a competitive time there from the Mercedes driver. We'll see what he can do as he comes back into the pit lane there to get himself sorted. Fanjo, unfortunately, validated on his first run, so that's him done and dusted on this occasion. If he's got enough fuel, he can go again, but he might have to come to the pits and then refuel and put a new set of tyres on that Haas and get himself back out on track. Nigel there is on. Well, Nigel's had a spin there. Nigel at the exit of Lacombe, has had an issue there as he goes through the chicane there, beginning sector 2, and that has he's lost a bit of end plate there. That left end plate is missing on that AlphaTauri. That is definitely not going to be good for his lap time, and I think he's going to have to come back to the pit lane and sort that out. And that is again both the 2 of the top drivers in the championship. Nigel and Fanjo having struggles on their first flying lap attempts there around this circuit. Equaz there is not having so much trouble. He's done a great job there, putting himself P1 there, the driver who's P2 in the championship. Off the circuit, we've got Wilson there, who's having a problem there through sector 2 as well. Exit of P1 as well, unfortunately for Wilson. Gordo, no, it's not Gordo, it's Dope 11 goes thrown past him on an outlap. So Dope 11 goes straight into the track for the first time in this session as well. What can Cassell do now is going down the Kemmel Straight, the fastest part of the circuit, with DRS activated as well. Once he's gone up the hill through Rouge and Valiant, he now tackles onto the straight. Lacombe is the next section. Through the chicane he goes nicely indeed. You don't want to run too wide. There's Lucas Percy found out as well yesterday, almost losing control of the car. An amazing car control it was actually to keep the car in one piece and on the grey stuff opposed to the green stuff. But yeah, good stuff indeed from we saw Lucas Percy and Boxtel actually both make great recovery drives in their own respective races themselves on the gold grid last night as well. So it was a spectacle to watch for sure, and again another fantastic performance there from Troy as well in the gold race last night. But we're not talking about gold tonight. We're talking about silver as well. They've got a good job to do as well, and I'm sure they will be putting on an entertaining race as well as we saw in gold. So stay tuned for that one. Unfortunately, the Alfa Romeo is gone back to being. Well, I'm not quite sure. Is it gone back to being black and not sort of gone back to being white and red, hasn't it? I think, or I'm not quite sure if it was a temporary thing, adding the black and red livery to the game, because of course we did hear that, as Dylan's gone even faster still, we did hear that EA were going to put in the black and red Alfa Romeo livery for 2023, but I think it might have been temporary now, and they've switched it back there to the white car, as Wilson's been disqualified for plugging the pit lane, which is no surprise there at all. Dylan there is, like I said, he's gone faster still. He's improved by over a tenth of a second there to put himself on P1, and that is him looking for potentially a pole position, of course, but potentially another win for the Williams outfit. That would be fantastic stuff indeed if he can master that up. Of course, he's got a few rivals there that will probably be interested in making sure that doesn't happen. The likes of Ekwas there, I'm sure, will be very keen to stop that happening, and I'm sure the championship protagonists there, Nigel and Fandra, there will have something to say about it as well. But we'll have to wait and see who's going to do what in this qualifying session. Of course, we saw issues there for Jordi Boxtel in qualifying in gold. He actually qualified in Q1. Of course, there's a Q1, Q2 and Q3 session in gold. Yeah, unfortunately, didn't get qualified. Finished P8, started P18, I should say, from Q1 and got knocked out. So he, like I said, it doesn't always go too rosy for the championship leaders in the qualifying sessions. So we'll have to wait and see if Nigel and Fandro can get themselves rectified in this one. I haven't read any of the comments, which is a bit stupid to me. But Bonjour says, Gordo there doing a good job there. He's currently in P10 at the moment. So he's looking to get himself into the points paying positions again. Martin has said, let's go. And Serious Mushroom made it last. Not missed anything. So good stuff indeed. Yes, you made it for the qualifying. Like I said, we've just about started. We've got 5 minutes left to qualify before we get into the Grand Prix itself. And Gordo said, I almost died. I hope not. He seems to be safe and sound in the pit lane at the moment. Of course, a lot of drivers now because it's such a long lap, they've got only pretty much got 2 runs in this qualifying session if they don't get themselves out straight away. So there's limited qualifying running for most of the drivers there. Unfortunately for them, as reflection there reflects the Ferrari of Camaro. No, it's Vuitton there on an out lap go through as well. Good stuff indeed. Let's have a look and see who's going to be the next driver to cross the line in anger. I don't think Reflection's on that because we just saw him let the Ferrari go through. Danny is on track as well, but he's unfortunately invalidated as well. So it's not looking good for the guys who are currently out on track. They've got enough time though to get themselves back to the pit lane and complete their lap times. Equaz is on track and he's not invalidated his lap this time. He's looking very fast indeed as he comes now round Blanchimont and towards the bus stop chicane. Let's see what he can do now as he gets into the heavy braking zone, one of the heaviest braking zones on the circuit. And he's on over the curb a bit there. He might have unsettled the car slightly, lost him maybe a bit of time. Here he comes up to the lineup. What can he do here in the Aston Martin? It's a 1:43.122, and he's absolutely smashed everybody else out of the park there with that fantastic time indeed. Look at that. It's almost 4 tenths of a second at least ahead of Potstuff in P2 currently. Dylan there is done on 43.5, is looking good. It was looking good as well for a pole position, but unfortunately for himself, Equaz has come along and decided to beat that time by almost 5 tenths there, half a second that is. So he's done a great job indeed there. Has Equaz there getting that time on the board. Likes of his championship protagonists Nigel and Fandra yet to get themselves on the board at all. So that is looking good at the moment for Equaz there. He's on form here tonight in Spa. Looking good indeed is the Aston Martin outfit, and like I said, maybe carrying on from their efforts in Bahrain as well. We saw, of course, Alonso there getting himself a podium for Aston Martin, which was absolutely fantastic indeed. So and hopefully we can see more rivalries with more teams there challenging for the points and for the big points and for the wins in real life F1 as we can see in Formula 1 and league racing as well. There we go, Potstuff back in the pit lane there. He's called it a day so far. A few drivers now on out laps. Here comes Danny there. Danny's on a lap, I think. potentially. We'll have to find out as he comes across the line. He's 10 seconds up on his time. As then Aston Martin? I think it was of Equaz. They're trying to get out of the way there through Stavolo, but he's managed to get himself through. Danny now up to the fastest part of the circuits now as well. Blanchimont now very flat out on that left-hander in the dry, that is, but he's managed to negotiate it very nicely indeed. Of course, looking to improve on 156 there at the moment, but it wasn't a representative time just yet. He was just looking to set his sights on the board. Up to the line here for Danny. It's going to be a 44.7 there, puts himself P9 at the moment, and he's just behind Cassell there in P8 by 4 thousandths of a second as well, so he's not too far off that P8 position. So let's I think that might be his qualifying done and dusted though, unfortunately, because there's only 1 minute and a half left in the qualifying session. So we'll have to wait and see who's going to be coming out, who's going to be coming in, who's going to be doing what in the next minute and a half. Cassell might potentially be able to improve there. He is on track now on his flying lap, going up the hill there towards Radion, and he's made it through very nicely without invalidating, of course. Good stuff indeed. Who is Danny? Is he new? He is not new. It is Grimmy there, who's raced a few races as well. So that's he's just changed his PlayStation and name. So don't you worry there, Serious Mushroom. It is the same driver but different name. Oh, it's probably his actual name really, but just a different PSN. That's all. Fandra there is on circuit. I think he's going to be crossing the line very, very soon. We'll have a look at Craigar. Is Craigar on a lap? Nope, he's just starting a lap now. I think the Ferrari as well of Camaro is just starting a lap also, so we'll come back to him. Let's have a look and see what Fandra can do there. This is his only lap in qualifying, I would say. So he comes up to the line here. What can he do in the Haas? It's a pole position currently. What a flying lap that is as well. The pressure was on him there. Equaz has retired in the pit lane. The pressure was on him there to get a time in on the board, and he's done a 42.887 there. That is, well, 2.5 tenths at least faster than Equaz as it stands at the moment, that is. And of course Equaz now not able to improve there after not coming back out of the pit lane in time to get himself another run in this qualifying session. So Fandra there with a fantastic lap time indeed has got himself currently on pole position as well. Fantastic stuff indeed from the Haas driver with one run in this qualifying session as well. Good stuff from the Haas and from Fandra. He's now giving himself getting a tow there, from giving a tow, sorry, I should say, to a Williams. I think it might be Dylan there. Dylan there is down on his time, unfortunately, in sector 1, so that tow didn't help too much. But the tow is quite powerful, I would imagine, around here as well. We'll have to find out how powerful it is. Let's have a look and see what Gamaro's going slowly there. He's decided to abandon his lap time. Here comes Ultimate Beast now round the bus stop chicane up to the line. What can he do? Is he improving from P5? He has not improved on his time, I don't think. So that is him done and dusted in qualifying. Unfortunately, Camaro there is having issues getting himself going again. Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what the problem is there for the Ferrari. He has got himself back underway, thankfully. But just letting the Haas drivers go through as well. I think the Haas of Irvine, that was, going through into corner of no name. Nigel is on track as well. This is, again, similar to Fandra, the only flying lap attempt that he can actually, only valid flying lap attempt that he can get on the board. Unfortunately, he didn't have a good time on his first flying lap attempt. Let's see what he can do there on the second one. Same as Fandra there. He's looking to get himself up the order quite quickly indeed. Let's have a look and see if he can do that. We've got a few more drivers to cross the line as well, though. Let's have a look and see what Danny can do. Danny's not changed positions just yet. Farf is on track as well, but he is he's going through the next part of the circuit, the last part of the circuit, I should say. Let's come back to Nigel. Then Nigel there needs to get himself a lap time on the board. What can he do? Can he beat a 42.8? It's going to be close indeed up to the line. It's going to be a 43.4. Puts himself P3 at the moment. So both all the top three in the championship are in the top three in qualifying at the moment. We're just seeing Farf there jump up to P9. Kamara Racer, I think, has invalidated his time. He's not going to be able to take part. Irvine put himself up into P9. Some good stuff indeed from the Haas driver. Both Haas drivers looking good in this qualifying session so far. And that is qualifying done and dusted, actually. We're waiting for Fandra to get himself back to the pit lane there. All the other drivers on the track are in AI mode, so he doesn't have to worry about them anymore. But there is the pole sitter there, Fandra there, coming back to the pit lane there. He has got himself a pole position here at Spa in Belgium there, round 14 of ALR Silver Season 5. The pole sitter is Fandra. Diggis has jumped into the comments as well. He said, enjoy watching Mushroom's victory as well. Yeah, it was, and yeah, it's Grimmy's there. We got that all confirmed there. Good stuff indeed. So yes, only one for one night, says Serious Mushroom there. Good stuff. Alrighty. And Gordo saying he's slow on the straights there, but that will mean he's good in the corners. So at least there's a positive there. You can pick out the positives. So that is one of them for sure. Right, so we'll just look at the bear with us 1 second whilst we wait for Fandle to get himself sorted. We'll have a rundown of the classification there for the qualifying session, and then we'll be right into the race there. 22 laps of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit is coming up. There we go then. Unfortunately, we saw Bradfield Wilson, Diane Murphy, Dr. set a time there. V Todd in P17 there, didn't get a good time unfortunately for the Ferrari outfit. Gorder there in P16 there, complaining that he's a bit slow on the straights. Let's find out what he can do in the race though. That's where you get the point. Smithy Almighty there in P15, Danny there in P14, Craig Art P13, Cassell in P12, and Reflection in P11. Just inside the points, we've got Farf there in P10, Irvine in P9 as well. Good lap time needed from Irvine as well. Dopey Lemons P8, Kamara Racer in P7, Ultimate Beast P6, Dylan there P5. That slip didn't help him in the end, unfortunately. Potstuff in P4, Nigel in P3, Equaz in P2, and your pole sitter, of course, is Fanjo. Great lap indeed. Oh dear, it looks a bit gloomy in Spa at the moment. Look at that. Those grey clouds have definitely rolled in tonight. Will that mean that we've got some rain forecast for this race? We'll have to find out, of course, as the race develops. We haven't seen any comments just yet or any updates just yet on what the weather situation is going to be like for this race. We'll have to find out when we get into the race itself. So a bit of a surprise for myself and for the fans watching as well, supporting the drivers there as they get onto the circuit in just about 20 seconds time. So we'll be there very, very soon. Yeah, like I said, we're getting everyone sorted for the strategies, the fuel loads. Everything is optimal for the start of the race. Of course, the formation lap will be in effect very, very soon. And once they've done that round, they've got the 22 laps to take on the famous circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. So let's have a look and see how they all line up. Well, they should line up in the qualifying order firstly, but we'll have a look and see what they line up in terms of what tyre compounds they're going to be putting on. So let's have a look and see what we've got on terms of the strategies. We've got from Wilson at the back there, P20 sorry, on the soft compound tyres there, Bradfield on the medium compound tyres from P19. Then we've got Hards for Dan Murphy in the Aston Martin, so he's the first runner there from the back of the grid, that is, to start on the hard compound tyres. Gordo there, no, not Gordo, sorry, V Todd. We've got what is going on there? Wilson and Bradford have been disqualified, so that is then done and dusted in this qualifying session, or formation lap session I should say. Gordo there starting on the soft compound tyres as well. He's on the soft compound tyres in the Alpine at the moment. Smithy Almighty there on the medium compound tyres as well in P15. So he is on the mediums in the Williams as well tonight. Danny in the Mercedes P14 on the medium compound tyres, as is Craig R there, P13 in the McLaren. Then we've got another hard runner there, Cassell there in P12 in the other Alfa Romeo. Reflection in P11 there on the medium compound tyres tonight, just outside the points paying positions for now. Farf there in P10 there on the hard compound tyres, as is Irvine there in the Haas in P9 on the hards as well. So those two drivers looking to go long in the first stint. Dopey Lemons there, P8 there on the medium compound tyres. Kamara Racer off the circuit there, having a few issues. Not quite sure what is going on there with the Ferrari. He's got himself back underway, but I'm not sure how he went off in that fashion. But the Ferrari there back underway there in P7 there on the grid on the medium compound tyres, as is Ultimate Beast there in the McLaren P6 as well. Couldn't improve too much on his first flying lap attempt, unfortunately, for the McLaren driver. Same for Dylan there in P5 there. That slipstream down the Kemmel Straight didn't help him too much, or enough to get himself further up the order there. He starts on the hard compound tyres in P5, looking to get himself back on the podium and potentially going for another win there. We'll see if he can get another win after his efforts there in Hungary last week. Pot stuff there in P4 there on the medium compound tyres, the highest runner on the medium compound tyres, or starting on the medium compound tyres. We've got Nigel there in P3 on the hards, Equaz there in P2 on the hards as well, and then our pole sitter Fanjo in the Haas on the hard compound tyres as well. Good stuff indeed. Like I said, we'll just get them lined up on the grid once again, and when the red lights come on, we'll be racing as well in the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. So let's have a look and see how we can do. Dan Murphy has left the session there. That is not good news for the Aston Martin driver, and the worst news is that he can't join back until the race has actually started, because otherwise it will probably mean that he can't get himself into the car. Fandra there gets himself lined up on the grid as well. Good stuff indeed. Right, yeah, I think we're all sorted just about. good luck from Kaz as well. I think we've got the lights coming on very soon. It sounds like it, but I can't see from this camera angle. 5 red lights are on here in Belgium. The 5 red lights are off. And away we go here for the Belgian Grand Prix in silver. Already some positions being changed into turn 1. We go. Equas going to go around the outside there with Fangio in the hash. Nigel and Potstaff switching places already into turn 1 as well. As in the background, everyone seems to have got through just about safely enough as well. Wilson up into P16. They've got through on those soft compound tyres. Gorda, they're struggling on the softs at the moment as well. Into the up to the hill, I should say, up Radion as well. Everyone seems to have got through unscathed. Craig R's had an issue there. Craig R at the back of the field. He's had an issue there. Where is that? He's at the complete left of the hill there. He didn't even get to the top of the hill. Craig R there. He's managed to get himself back underway. Hopefully there's no damage there for the McLaren. Doesn't look like it. There's issues there at the back though. It's Bradfield and Gordo and V Todd, I think, have been all collected into one incident there. So we didn't see that, but hopefully they can get themselves back underway. Kamara there is battling with Farf now. Farf down into P8 there. Kamara up into P7 and got themselves through nicely. But unfortunately, yeah, not quite sure what is going on between those two there, and that is that done and dusted there. Unfortunately for Craig R, he's managed to catch up to the back of the pack now. To be fair though, for the spins there with Bradfield, V Todd and Gordon, I'm not quite sure what happened between them into Lacombe, but they managed to get themselves back underway at least, and I don't think there's any damage for the drivers. I don't think there is anyway. Smithy Almighty and Reflection switching places there into sector 2. We go, or sector 3 now we go, as through Stavolo into that right hander. We go through now, very nicely done indeed. But Smithy there switching places there with Reflection there. He's done and dusted there. That position change is done and dusted. And the Red Bull is up the order. Gordo's had a problem there. Gordo's off the circuit. At Stavolo, I'm not quite sure. He's having struggles there as Dan Murphy has joined, but the struggles there for the Alpine of Gorda there. Unfortunately, he's having issues at the back of the field. Smithy Almighty and Wilson there switching places into the bus stop chicane, and Wilson's there up into P14 as he's got himself through on those soft compound tyres at the start of this race, and now going for the attack there on Reflection as well into the first turn. Bradford is in the pit lane, so he's called it a day there on those. Oh no, maybe he has got clean damage, I'm not quite sure. Gordo's also in the pit lane as well. Those soft compound tyres didn't work out for him, unfortunately. Those two drivers there in the pit lane, unfortunately, I'm not quite sure exactly what happened to those two at the end of the Kemmel Straight, but they've got to got themselves sorted out now into the pit lane at least. Beast has got himself past Potstaff there for P4. Potstaff was Fangio. Fangio's lost the lead there, two Equas there. Nigel looking to get interested as well into the right-hander as well, doing side by side on those hard compound tyres. Here goes the championship leader down the inside. He's going to turn to the outside, but he's got the move done already before he gets through the corner of No Name. There's a contact there between Fangio and Nigel. Fangio spinning around there. He's got himself back underway, I think, just about. Can he get himself back underway? He has done now. But unfortunately there we saw contact between, I think it was Fangio and Dan Murphy. Not Dan Murphy, it was the AlphaTauri of Nigel, wasn't it? And I'm not quite sure what happened there. It sort of sent Fangio in a spin, albeit he was behind the AlphaTauri somehow. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. As Danny's off the circuit as well. Danny's had an issue there. He's got himself back underway. Yeah, that is not good news there for Danny. He's got himself underway once again. I think it's just a bit of a spin there for the Mercedes. No damage done, and he can get himself back in this race. Wow, says Diggis there in the comment section. Yeah, he saw that. Fangio dropped down to P15 there as well. You can see right behind Dan Murphy now, who has got himself back in the car, I think. So that is him done and dusted. Wilson's got himself past Cassell there this time into the bus stop chicane. Cassell just letting him go there on the hard compound tyres. He's looking to go long in this race. It doesn't matter about those soft runners for the time being. At this stage of the event, as Nigel now has got a 2-second gap, or Equas, sorry, has got a 2-second gap over Nigel there. The incident there between Nigel, I think, did disrupt the momentum of the AlphaTauri as well, so that cost him a bit of time, unfortunately, for Nigel. So yeah, a bit of a shame there between Nigel and Fangio. Not quite sure there was any, there was no intent or there was no malice in that incident there, but it was just a bit of an unfortunate tap there that sent Fangio into a spin. Albeit, like I said, I think he was behind the AlphaTauri, but it sent him into a bit of a spin, albeit that contact as well. As Irvine's off the circuit, Irvine's had a problem there at Lacombe as well, the top of the straight, and he's got himself back underway there. He needs to get himself sorted, and because that Ferrari there of Viton, I should say, and Craig R is coming through very soon as well. But Viton there got himself up to P16 now after recovering as well. And it's going a bit difficult, isn't it, at the moment for some drivers there. They've had a few issues, like I said. It was we were expecting a few issues as Nigel's been passed there by Beast. He might be benefiting from that actually, because of course Beast there on the medium compound tyres can potentially have a bit more speed and grip than the hard runners at the moment, and he could bring himself closer to Equaz in this phase of the race. Quintin has said go Equaz. Equaz currently in the lead of the race. He's not looking too bad at the moment, does he? So good stuff indeed from Equaz. He's out in front by 2.2 seconds as it stands at the moment, that is. Let's have a look and see if he can keep hold of it again. Another win for Equaz would be great news for him. He'll be cementing his position there in P2 in the championship as it stands as well at the moment. Of course, Nigel there is back in the races now. Of course, after missing the last two with the holiday, so he's now going to get some points back on the board for himself in the AlphaTauri outfit as well, which is good. Farf has picked up the first penalty of the race so far, only 3 laps in, and he's already got the first penalty of the race. Is the rain starting to fall? I'm not quite sure as all that. Kamara, they're having a bit of a problem there getting through that chicane, going through the hill, I should say. He has gone wide down. I think could have picked up a warning himself as well, but no penalty just yet for the Ferrari driver. Into the chicane we go. Everyone seems to be single file through here. Kamara getting a bit slidey there, and that's going to be interesting. Farf, but Farf I think was going to stick a nose in there, and that would have been very dangerous for both drivers. I think that would have resulted in a spin for both as well, to be honest. But they managed to keep their noses clean for the time being as well. Todd and Craig are battling away down the back of the order. They've got themselves through P16 now. It's Craig in the McLaren, and Todd is back down to P17. Unfortunately for Todd, it's not going his way at the moment, is it? Which is a big shame for the time being for the Ferrari. Hopefully he can get himself sorted and get himself back up the order. Cassell there is still sticking with the likes of Reflection there, who is currently on the medium compound tyres, and like I said, the hard runners will just need to bide their time for this time being anyway, until they can get themselves back into the Grand Prix when it sort of phases in on their stint. But like I said, the hard runners will be a bit slower at this stage, of course, compared to the medium runners. And the one soft runner we've got a Wilson, so they won't be making any moves just yet, I don't think, the hard runners, unless a position presents itself. But here comes Fanjo. There's contact, I think, between himself and Cassell there. He's gone through into Blanchimont. Cassell going wide there, I think, just to avoid the contact. And I'm not quite sure if there was a bit of a nudge there from the Hatch driver as well, but they've both got themselves through. Thankfully, no issues there. Beast there sets the fastest lap of the race. He's brought the gap down to 1.8 seconds now to Equaz. But it's not coming down quickly enough there, I don't think, for the McLaren's liking at the moment. He's not within the DRS range, put it that way. Let's have a look and see who's going to be next to cross the DRS detection line. I think Nigel might just have DRS. We've got an issue there for Smithy. Smithy's off the circuit at the exit of turn 1 somehow. He must have had an incident there with somebody, because that's a bit of an odd place to go for a spin, that is. And now down the hill we go. I think Craig might be able to get within the 1 second window here as well. Fandra's got himself past Reflection, far from Kamara, switching places into the end of the Kemmel Straight. Kamara keeps the place though, P6 for Kamara. Fandra's got himself past Reflection, back up into the points. There is Fanjo on those hard compound tyres. Good stuff indeed from Fanjo to recover back to the points. Craig and Smithy switching places there in the Kemmel Straight. There's contact indeed between the two of them there, but nothing doing between the two of them. I think Craig had made the move already, and he got himself through there in the McLaren up to P15. Good stuff indeed for himself. Cassell got the second penalty of the race so far on lap 5 there, with 3 second penalty there for himself and for Farf. Kamara's off the field, off the order, I should say, gone into the wall as well. That's going to be wing damage, I think, for the Ferrari. He's got himself back underway just about. The exit of Pouillon, I think that's the issue for the Ferrari driver. He's got himself back underway now, thankfully, and can get himself back around the circuit. And he's gone into the wall there, and I think that might be a safety car, to be honest, because that was a big smash indeed. It is a safety car as well. The safety car has been called out, so that is going to be an interesting strategy there, and of course that will be helpful there for Gordo and for Bradfield there to catch up to the safety car queue as well. We just saw Kamara there drive off the circuit there, unfortunately, and that is not good news for Kamara as well. I think we'll have to be looking into that one after the race as well. Into the pits though comes Ultimate Beast. They decided to call it there on the medium compound tyres already. Dopey Lemons is in the pits as well. Wilson, Fanjo, Cassell's carrying on there on the medium compound tyres. Oh no, he's not. He's on the hards, isn't he? Good stuff indeed. A few drivers there into the pit lane there to get themselves sorted onto a new set of boots. Dan Murphy there carries on as well, 5 laps on those hard compound tyres for those that have started the race there on those tyres. They have decided to carry on. The top 7 have all carried on. Botstaff, the only driver to carry on the medium compound tyres, though. He's done 5 laps on those mediums, and he's currently in P3. And that is, unfortunately for Equaz, negated any lead that he had. He had about a 1.5 second lead, didn't he, over the McLaren there, Ultimate Beast there. Out of the pit lane there, I think Dan Murphy and Cassell battling away, but he's lost. I think Cassell there was ahead on the exit of the pit lane, so now we've just got to wait for the safety car to bunch up the pack. Gordo, I think, should stay out. He has stayed out there on this occasion, which is good news, because on those hard compound tyres, he can go long now on this stint and potentially switch to softs later on in this race. But we'll have to find out what the strategy options are going to be there for the Alpine driver. But he is carrying on at the moment. Bradfield is in the pit lane again for the second time this is. But he's managed to get himself onto the hard compound tyres there. And now he can get himself after the safety car queue. Like I said, Gordo and Bradfield there were about 20 seconds down out of the order, weren't they, after the incidents there on lap 1, and now can get themselves back in the order, potentially from get themselves back in the points as well. We'll have to find out, but we'll have to wait and see how it all goes. Viton has gone on the soft compound tyres, as has Craig R, so I'm not quite sure what the strategy between those two are, because of course the softs will definitely not get to the end of this race, I don't think. The mediums probably won't either, unfortunately, for the likes of Dopey Lemons and Fangio as well, so they will have to maybe come back into the pit lane very soon as well. Well, not very soon, but in a few laps or so, around about lap 15 or 16 potentially we might see some more pit stops as well for those drivers, but we'll come back to that one. And there we go, we'll have to wait and see what's going to be the next phases. We're waiting for Bradford there and Gordo to catch up in the safety car queue. We'll have a look here. The race leader Equaz there, his lead of almost 2 seconds we saw at one point has been wiped out there to Nigel now. Nigel just 2 tenths behind him. Yeah, Nigel there would be very happy with that as well, I imagine, because he can now see the sights, see the back, of that Aston Martin, and can potentially try and stay within 1 second of the Aston Martin this time. Of course, the only reason he lost out to that, I think, was the tap there with Fangio there that cost him a bit of time on the exit of the corner of No Name. Botstaff there on, he's going to be on 6-lap-old medium compound tyres when they cross the line here, so he decided to carry on as well. No pit stop there for the Red Bull driver either, so he's still carrying on at this stage of the race. 6-lap-old medium potentially with the safety car as well, as Irvine's decided to pit as well. He's decided to come into the pit lane on this occasion. Not quite sure what's going on there. Craig R carries on his soft compound tyres, as does Viton as well. So those drivers basically confirming that they will be doing a 2-stop race in this event. In comes in comes Nigel, not Irvine, I should say. There you go, there's too many N's and F's. But Irvine there putting himself onto the medium compound tyres. I don't think the medium will get to the end of this race, unfortunately. So it might be a bit of a difficult strategy call there for Irvine there. I think potentially trying to extend the last lap just to make sure that he can go onto the medium compound tyres and potentially get to the end. But I don't know if they will make it the full 15 laps there, which we probably will have. I think we'll have anyway. We're going to wait and see. We're on lap 7 there, so we'll start on lap 8. So that will be that will be 15 laps of green flag running. Should we get restarted at the end of this lap, hopefully we will do, and we're back underway very, very soon. Right, then we're just about to get ourselves into sector 3, and we should get the notification very soon that the safety car is going to be peeling away back to the pit lane at the end of this lap. So we'll look now for that. Equaz, of course, will be the de facto safety car leader, because he has to then set the pace once the safety car has got himself the notification that it's going inside the pit lane. He has to wait for the safety car to get himself in the pit lane before he can get himself going as well. Because otherwise he might have caused a bit of a crash there with that Aston Martin safety car as well, and he wouldn't want to do that when he's in the Aston Martin himself as well, would he? So there we go. So he's got to get himself settled in, get those tyres warmed up as well throughout the grid, and wait for that safety car to get himself safely back into the pit lane before he can drop the hammer and get himself going. Of course, he decides when he goes, and the start-finish line will start basically mean when they can start overtaking each other again. But we'll have to wait and see when he decides to get that Aston Martin, get the race back underway. He could wait all the way to the finish line. We'll have to wait and see when he does decide to go. But we'll have to, it depends when he decides to drop the hammer there as well, doesn't he? think he might have gone already, actually. He's gone now, I think, before we get to the bus stop chicane there. He has dropped the handler already. Good start indeed there from Equaz there, catching a few drivers out, I think. But not Nigel and Potstuff. Potstuff's done a good job of hanging on to these guys as well. Dylan there in P4 at the moment. Farf there in P5, but of course has got his penalty there that he picked up, as has Cassell there in P6 as well. So there we go. Back underway for green flag, running on lap 8 there of 22. It does go quite quickly, to be fair, through this one, as Wilson there and Fanjo having a few incidents there into turn 1, and Fanjo coming back on the circuit there right behind the Mercedes driver. Reflection, I think, has been passed by Danny there as well. As up the hill we go into Radion as well. There's still the Haas right behind that Mercedes, and wrong reverse, I think, in terms of lead racing and real life racing, that is. But now Danny is all over the back of this battle as well. It's going to be tight indeed into the chicane, and Wilson there going through nicely indeed. Fanjo on the inside, now turns to the outside, now turns to the outside again. He's now trying to go shit the corner. Onto the curb he goes, does Fanjo, and again they're going to be side by side as they go through this corner as well. The right hander there, Wilson's been unsettled there, I think, with going a bit too wide down the corner, and that's lost him a place there to Fanjo and Wilson. Craig Hart as well going through past Danny there on the soft compound tyres has really helped punch up the pack behind the battles there for the outside of the points paying positions just about. And Craig Hart there losing places there back to Danny as well. Danny there on the hard compound tyres looking to get himself after his teammate. Vitodd's got past Reflection as well now, up into P14 now on the soft compound tyres. Those softs, of course, will be much more optimal at this stage as they get themselves warmed up much quicker and can get themselves into the race a lot quicker as well than those hard compound runners around them as well. So looking to use the hards to their advantage there is Vitodd and Craig R at this stage of the race. They're all over the back of Danny there at the moment, and Danny trying to catch up to his teammate there. He's lost already 2.5 seconds there to Fanjo. Fanjo's got himself back in the points again after his efforts, and now he's got a 3-second gap there to Dopey Lemon, so that's the problem though. He's been held up quite a lot there, has Fanjo. Needs to get himself back in the race as a 3-second penalty there for Danny. Danny's gone off the circuit there. I'm not quite sure what's happened there between Danny and Wilson there, his teammate, as Wilson's got a 5-second penalty for the corner as well. So both Mercedes drivers picking up penalties there for their efforts there. I'm not quite sure what is going on between these two, as Danny there has let his teammate go back through, but all this time there is costing them to the top runners in the points. So unfortunately, like I said, all these the top 10 I should say, have already split really at this stage of the race. Smith picked up a penalty as well, and the top and the bottom 8, of course Camara not in the race anymore, the bottom 9 I should say, are all battling here. Craig R trying to get himself past the Mercedes as well, as into the chicane we go, and again there's contact from Craig R. Vitodd's going to be interested in this now as well. Vitodd trying to go down the inside there of the McLaren, and he's made the move, I think, just about. He has got the inside there for the next right-hander as well. Into the turn we go, and he's got the move done as Vitodd. Bradford getting interested as well now with Craig R on the inside, but he's managed to cover that off there in the corner of no name for the time being. Vitodd now is the lead soft runner, but of course we do expect the soft to die out quite quickly, unfortunately, for the likes of Vitodd and Craig R as well. But yeah, like I said, the battling between Danny and his teammate has cost them now 6 seconds there to the top 10, and it's just not looking good there for the likes of Wilson, Danny, and the likes of Vitodd, Craig R, and Bradford all bunched up behind them as well. Smithy's had a problem there. He's off the circuit at the back, but he's managed to get himself back in the train. So that is not too bad for the time being. Danny there trying to get a move now, trying to get a move on now, I should say, trying to get himself past his teammate. I think they're all being held up here at the moment, but DRS has been enabled now, so they can use that to their advantage. Into the bus stop chicane. Vitodd going for a dive bomb there. He's got the move done, has he? No, he's lost out actually to Bradfield, and there's a bit of, I'm not quite sure if there's a bit of lag going on here or something like that, but Vitodd has lost out to Bradford and Craig R. Craig R gets himself up into P13. Danny's lost almost a second there to his teammate somehow, as Reflection and Vitodd battling away. Vitodd now down the inside into La Source, and he's got the move done up into P15, back up into P15 I should say, on the Red Bull driver, but it's going to be tight indeed down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Marion. Dan Murphy got himself past his party rider Cassell. Cassell dropped down behind Beast as well. Beast and Cassell into the chicane. It's going to be side by side through here. Cassell now has the inside. It's good move in the Beast around the outside of very good, very well held there indeed from the McLaren driver. And now Opie Lemon's looking to get himself interested in this battle as well, on the medium compound tyres, but I think it's going to be held off for the time being. Cassell still has the position there down the inside, always close indeed with Beast as well. Beast almost having contact with the Alfa Romeo there, and that's lost him a place there to Dopey Lemons as well. Dopey there up into, there's contact once again there between Beast and the Alpine, and they come off the circuit at Pouillon, but they've got themselves back on. And unfortunately with Beast there, they're both lost out in that one corner there to Fanjo as well. Fanjo getting himself up into P8 now on the medium compound tyres. Good stuff indeed. There's still no movement at the back with Wilson, Grimmy, Danny I should say, and Craig R. No position changes at this stage of the race. But what about that was between Beast and Dopey Lemons there. Cassell involved as well. He keeps hold of his P7 for the time being. But he's got Fanjo now on his back there, as well as the Alfa Romeo driver, and I think Fanjo will try and breeze past very quickly with the DRS as well to get himself up into P7. Heckras is good at starts, but we have had a change for the lead. Nigel, we didn't see it at all probably on the last lap there. It has made a move there with the DRS assistants. Danny and Wilson have switched places into the chicane this time again. It seems like they're struggling here massively. Is Danny... Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough there. Danny there, it seems like they're struggling to get themselves through the bus stop chicane there, side by side, as V-Todd is slowing down. What's happened to V-Todd here? V-Todd is off the set. He's just let everyone through there. I'm not quite sure what happened there to V-Todd. Hopefully he's okay. Cassell has dropped down the order. He's lost out to Fanjo and to Beast as well. He's slotted himself in ahead of Dopey Lemons. I think he might have had an issue there through the chicane. V-Todd is slowing down. V-Todd is off the circuit at Eau Rouge and Radion. I'm not quite sure what is going on here for V-Todd. He's got himself back underway. Reflection's been passed by Smithy, has he? All into the chicane we go once again. It's very close indeed, and no moves being made. But V-Todd, I'm not quite sure what's happened to the Ferrari outfit. Having a few issues there, and it's not good news for Ferrari tonight, as one of their other drivers is already out of this race. So hopefully he can get himself sorted and back in this one. Maybe the soft compound tyres are already dropping off at this stage of the race as well. We'll have to find out. But out in the lead there, Nigel has kept hold of the lead for the time being. That is, it's half a second there. 2 Ekpaz there in the Aston Martin P2. Potts up there hanging on in the background there on the medium compound tyres as well. We'll have to see when those mediums start to go up. He has picked up a penalty as well for multiple warnings, I believe. Let's have a look at the situation. It is 3 seconds there for Potstuff and for Farf. 3 seconds for Cassell, 5 for Wilson, 3 for Danny, and for Craig Art, and 3 for Smithy and Mighty as well at the moment. So the penalties are starting to add up. We do see a lot of penalties around here as well as Craig R. Craig R's off the circuit at Stavolo. He's had an issue there. He's got himself back underway. As into the pits comes Potstuff, Farf and Dylan as well. So pit stop activity already. And into the pits goes the Rebel there first off the medium compound tyres. What's going to go on to? I think the hard compound tyres is the best option. He is on the hard compound tyres now, rolling his way back out of the pit lane, and I think he might be able to at least keep hold of that top 10 position potentially. It's not going to be too hard, I don't think, as Wilson there has got himself through. Danny there is still in this train, and I think Potstuff is going to be very frustrated when he comes out of the pit lane, as he's going to come out of the pit lane in this queue, as is Farf and as is Dylan as well. All of these drivers they're going to be in the queue. Cassell's got passed by Dean, by Dopey Lemons, now Dopey now up into P6. Good stuff indeed from him. As back in this battle here, Danny once again is off the circuit again. I think it is down the up the hill, I should say, up towards Radion. And now here comes Bradfield as well now into the chicane. It's close indeed, but he's made the move, and here comes Irvine as well, trying to go around the outside there on his medium compound tyres. He's got the move done, has he? Down the inside, he's got the move done very nicely indeed, has Irvine. Fantastic overtake indeed from the Haas driver up into P10 there as well. And Irvine there needs to be watching out. He's got to be under pressure there. Not Irvine, sorry, Danny needs to be watching out. He's going to be under pressure there from Gordo. And of course, Farf, Potstuff, and Dylan, who have already just come out the pit lane as well. So they're going to be very fast indeed. Farf getting themselves past Gordo before the Pouillon entrance. And he's got himself through up into P12 now. We're going to set his sights on Danny and then the next few drivers as well up the order. Dan last to third, says a serious mushroom. Yes, he has done last to third, but he has yet to pit. Same for the top two there of Nigel and Ekpaz. They haven't pitted just yet. So the top three in order haven't pitted. Into the pits, as I say, that is Nigel. Fanjo making a move there. Oh no, he has made a move. Sorry, Dan Murphy is also in the pit lane as well. So as Sirius Russians has said that, or as I've read out the Sirius comment, they're coming to the pit lane to make their pit stops as well. So Nigel there will get themselves onto a new set of boots, onto the medium compound tyres, it looks like, for Nigel and for Dan Murphy as well. Has he been held there by, no he hasn't, he's just jumped out the pit lane there, as if by magic, and I think he'll be out ahead of the train as well, which is going to be great news indeed for Nigel there, because he doesn't want to be stuck behind these drivers behind him there. Wilson's been passed by Bradfield there, but I think he'll be, it's going to be close indeed, and this is not going to be good news for Nigel if he's going to be within that 1 second window there of the drivers behind. He's managed to get himself out of that range for this detection zone, but here comes Wilson now as well, far over the back of Wilson also. As we go down the Kemmel Straight, let's have a look and see what the Mercedes and the AlphaTauri are going to do here, as we're on board with the AlphaTauri into the first part of the chicane there. Enough space left indeed. He goes a bit of slidey there for Farf, and he's got himself through there just about. Wilson's off the circuit there. He's had an issue there as Wilson, and that is a big crash indeed for the Mercedes driver. He's off the circuit, I think, unsettled by the AlphaTauri of Farf coming through, and I think Farf there almost lost control of the car as well, going through the chicane as well. Danny picks up a penalty there again. I think that's 2 penalties now for Danny, unfortunately for him. That is going to compound his race at this stage of the race, unfortunately for Grimmy, or Danny I should say, because he keeps changing his name. So hopefully he can get himself back up the order. He does not have to pit, I would imagine. I think he's at the end of the race there on those hard compound tyres, but it depends what the other drivers have to do as well. There's some drivers there who might have to pit again, who are further up the order from Danny, so that could potentially mean that he can get himself back in the... Oh no, as I was saying that, he's gone off the circuit as well, same as his teammate. Unfortunately, has Danny there, he's off the circuit, and that is him done and dusted there. Unfortunately, he's had an issue there just before the exit of Sector 2 onto Sector 3, and in Stavolo there, he's got himself back underway. Unfortunately, the Mercedes, they're not having a good time there on this lap. Cassell there from P5 has entered the pit lane, and he's going to be passed by Nigel there. Nigel there going back through the P5, Bradfield and Farf going through. But let's see what he's going to go on to. Is it going to be the soft compound tyres? It looks like it's the medium compound tyres there for Cassell. So he's going to be on to the mediums now to the end of the race, and I think he's coming out behind the rest of the queue here. Unfortunately, he's going to be within the train, as Wilson and Danny there are in the pit lane as well. V Todd is coming to the pits also. Craig R is carrying on there on the medium compound tyre, so that's Craig R there back in the order. Farf and Bradfield switching places there, down at the Kemmel Straight as well. Farf with the DRS assistance has got himself through up into P6 there, but this penalty situation is in Bradfield's favour. If he can cling on to the back of that AlphaTauri, that will bring him back up the order. Dylan there in P9 there, not looking out, not well. I think the safety car, it sort of ruined the strategies for some drivers, but it helped at some stages as well. Smithy picks up a penalty there as V Todd, Wilson and Danny there do exit the pit lane and get themselves back underway. Unfortunately, like I said, for some drivers it's helped, for some it has not, as Equaz is yet to pit from the leader of the race. And Fanjo on 8-lap old mediums, I think we'll have to see Fanjo back in the pit lane. It could relinquish the lead of the race and potentially the win as well to Ultimate Beast there, who's actually on 8-lap old mediums and could be able to go to the end of the race here. Cassell picks up a penalty there. That's not what he needed in the Alfa Romeo there. He wants to minimise the penalties. Yellow flag for Craig R. He's off the circuit there at Sector 2. I'm not quite sure how he's done that as well. He's gone off at the exit of corner of No Name, but he's gone into the wall on the left-hand side somehow. So he's got the McLaren back underway, thankfully, but he might have a bit of damage there to need to be sorted out on that McLaren as well. So we'll have to wait and see. Reflection, they're going for a move there on Gordo into Blanchimont. He's got the move done. Gordo coming back at him though towards the bus stop chicane. Let's see what Gordo can do. Can he make a late move down the outside? I should say. He's got the move done as Gordo. Has he? He's got the move done as well. I think there's a bit of a lag spike there on my end. Smithy Almighty's lost the traction there on the Williams there. He's off the circuit. Dylan's got himself past Irvine, who's had a problem there at the source. He's got himself back underway as Irvine there. He's dropped down just outside the point there. Unfortunately, Dan Murphy getting himself passed up into P10 there on those medium compound tyres, but not good news there for Irvine. Hopefully he can get himself back in the points. He will technically get himself back in the points on the penalty situation for Bot Stuff and for Favre as well, but not good news unfortunately for Irvine. Not sure what happened to the Haas at the exit there of La Source. Here comes Dan Murphy now down the straight. He's too far back to make any moves as Irvine was slotting behind there in P11 for the time being. Gordo's got himself up into P12, which is good news indeed for Gordo. Equaz still yet to pit, so that is interesting news indeed. As I think we saw, was it Craig R? Craig R was off the circuit, but he's not coming to the pit lane, so he's carrying on there on those medium compound tyres, getting himself back into the groove of this race. Smith and White there did have a bit of a spin there as well. We saw the end of that, and we got himself back underway as well. Good stuff indeed. Is Equaz going to pit, says Diggis. You know what? He might not. Let's have a look. We could see. Well, he's going to have to do quite. He's going to have to pit, isn't he? You caught me out there, Diggers. He's going to have to pit because he hasn't pitted at all yet so far. There we go. No stops there for the Aston Martin driver, so he will have to make a pit stop at some stage in this race. Otherwise, he'll be disqualified. And I think we have jinxed it there. He has come into the pit lane now as well from the lead of the race. Fangio there is on 10 lap. Well, he's going to be 10 lap old tyres now as he crosses the line to take the lead of the race. Beast there right behind him now on those those hard compound tyres as well, within DRS range, I might add. Let's see where Equaz is going to come out. Nigel there is going to cross the line there to take P4. Equaz is not out of the pit box just yet, so he's going to be behind his rival of Nigel. Farf might come through as well potentially. Let's have a look. Pit exit is a bit narrower than the than turn one. As here we go. Then Equaz coming out the head of. Is it going to be close? It's going to be close indeed between Bradfield and Dylan as well. I think he's got himself ahead just about, but of course the DRS is going to be available for the Alfa Romeo there as they come over the top of the hill. There we go. Need to get those tyres warmed up as quickly as possible. There, Bradfield there has got the edge now on the Aston Martin there. Oh, has he? Oh, he seems to be ducking back inside there. As Equaz is fighting this one tooth and nail. Here comes Dylan as well down the inside. It's going to be close indeed as Dylan there. Oh, Dylan's gone through as well. A great move indeed on Bradfield. We thought he was going to be making a move there on Equaz, but he made the move on Bradfield instead. But Bradfield fights back, and no position changes after all of that. You would have thought there would be some overtakes there, but Equaz done a great job there of hanging on to that P6 there. It looked close indeed as they came out the pit lane, and he has managed to hang on to that P6, and now he's going to use those medium compact tyres to get away from the drivers behind him as quickly as possible. Dylan there is being held up now on those mediums as well by Bradfield in P7 at the moment, but Bradfield there running his own race. He doesn't need to worry about it. He's not being lapped or anything. He can run his own race and just try and hold on to the positions that he needs to get some points in this one as well. So he's entitled to do what he's doing, but of course, like I said, it is costing Dylan and potentially the likes of Potstuff and Dan Murphy as well behind as well. So it could come back. Yellow flags for a Red Bull. It's a Red Bull of Reflection off the circuit. Unfortunately for Reflection having an issue there in sector 2, exactly where we were saying earlier in qualifying, that is where the problem area is for. We saw in gold as well, but he's got himself thankfully back underway. He has the Red Bull driver Gordo and Cassell switching places. Oh dear, what's going on there? It's close indeed between these two, and Gordo and Cassell. Cassell's off the circuit in Blanchimont there. He's got himself back on, but Cassell there I think was trying to get the overtake done on the Alpine there. He's having to slot in behind for the time being there and bide his time, but it seems like there's always Gordo there almost sliding through the bus stop chicane there. I think Cassell there will bide his time and make a move now down the Kevin Straight. Let's have a look and see if there's any further moves up and down the order. Currently Beast is leading the way there. He's got a big gap there. Fangio must have gone off. I think Fangio's gone off. He's lost 3.5 seconds there to Beast, and that is costly there for the Haas driver. He's looking to recover in this race. I think he's going to have to make a pit stop as well. He's on 11 laps there on those tyres, as has Dopey Lemons in P3. Dylan and Bradfield battling away once again into the end of the Kemmel Straight. He's got the move done as Dylan this time up into P7. Off the circuit goes somebody there. Was it Potstuff? I'm not quite sure. Potstuff's having a few issues there. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the Red Bull driver there. He's having a difficult time, unfortunately for himself in the Red Bull. He has been parked, I think, by Bradfield, and of course I think Dylan was the instigator of that as well. Here comes Cassell there into the next corner of no name. He's got himself up into P12 now, looking to get his sights set on Irvine as well. Yellow flags elsewhere. It's again for. It's for Potstuff. It's Potstuff at Pion. He's had a problem there. Has the Red Bull, unfortunately for Potstuff. He's dropped himself out of the points paying positions for the time being, which is a big shame there for Potstuff. He was looking good in this race. He qualified, of course, in P4. But it's not going well at this stage of the race. Beast picks up a penalty as well from the lead of the race. That is not good news at all for him as well. We can see the likes of Nigel is increasing his, decreasing the gap there to the race leader. We're expecting potentially the top 3 still to pit, but we're not sure. I think they might be trying to soldier on to the end of this race. We're on to lap 18. They've got 5 laps to go in this Belgian Grand Prix, and I think it's going to get close indeed. Fangio there is losing time now. Those medium compound tyres I think are done in this race there for Fangio and for Dopey Lemons potentially as well, which is going to be exciting there for Nigel, for Farf, for Equaz, and for Dylan as well, if he can get themselves back up the order in this fray. But yeah, 6 or 7 laps would be gone for the soft compound tyres. I think even in some cases the medium compound tyres, once they get to about that range, they start to drop off from there as well. So the medium compound tyres now are dropping off, I think, for Fanjo and Dopey Lemons. I think they're getting towards the end of their lifespan. We might see the same there from Irvine as well. Currently, he's battling for the last points paying position, and it needs to hold on to that as Nigel there, the championship leader, picks up a penalty as well. That is great news indeed for Equans. If he can get himself within the 3-second range of Nigel as well, that is going to help him out very nicely indeed. But we'll have to wait and see. Nigel's all over the back there. Dopey Lemons there trying to get himself past for P3. Far off in the middle, says Diggis. That is always going to end badly as Fanjo picks up a penalty as well. Now the penalties are flying in as the laps have unfolded as well. Of course, the penalty situation just gets worse and worse as the race unfolds, because the drivers are just lose a bit of concentration here at one corner, lose a bit of concentration at the next corner or something like that, and the warnings will start pouring in. 3 warnings, of course, equals a 3-second penalty, and that is what Fanjo has just picked up as well. We've got a lot of drivers now on penalties, with penalties, I should say, which will of course be factored into their end race result. But there we go. Still stay still. Say Equaz, says Serious Mushroom. Still say Equaz got this. There we go. I couldn't read, but yeah, Equaz there is potentially was the favourite there. Oh, it's off the circuit. Goes Dopey Lemons. They're not quite sure what happened to him there. It might have lost traction there on these compound tyres. I think just how old they are, how worn they are. Into the pit lane he goes. And I think that might be good timing indeed, actually, for Dopey Lemons to switch himself onto the soft compound tyres. Nigel up into P3 and can get himself set on the back of the house of Fanjo. Potstuff picks up a penalty again for Potstuff. Unfortunately, not good news there. Dopey Lemons coming out the pit lane now. I think he'll be ahead of Cassell. He might be, will be ahead of Cassell there. So he's going to be in P11 there, but he's going to be on fresh soft compound tyres compared to older mediums and older hards. I think we might see Dopey Lemons back in the points paying positions at the end of lap 22, because he's got 3 and a bit laps there to go on these soft compound tyres, and that will be enough to get himself to the end of the race. Will it be enough to get himself back in the points paying positions? We'll find out. He's got a 2.8 second gap, and he's got to get himself within that range of the Red Bull and of the potentially of the Haas as well, and we'll see if he can get himself up into P8 potentially with Bradfield, around P7 with Dan Murphy as well. We will find out. Reflection and Smithy resuming their battle there. Danny is into the pit lane there at the back. Hopefully he can get himself onto a set of soft compound tyres there to get himself a fastest lap point as well in this race. Put himself on the softs and get himself an extra point, because of course the fastest lap point is awarded to anybody who finishes the race, as long as they are in the car, and that is looking like that's what the plan is there for Danny as well. Good stuff indeed for keeping going in this race as well. Nigel's got himself within DRS range of his championship rival of Fanjo there. Fanjo, they're going to be feeling the pressure now from the AlphaTauri driver, and I think once Nigel gets past, it's going to be close indeed with the battle between himself and Beast. Can he get that gap down? It's almost 4.5 seconds, or just over 4.5 seconds at the moment. Can he get himself past Fanjo though, to then get on the attack there and get the lead, get the win ahead of the McLaren? We'll have to find out. Both of them, all 3 of them at the top 3 on penalties, and I think Farf has got 6 seconds penalties, hasn't he? No, he's got 3 as well as Farf. Get off that. There we go. As Nigel got himself past Fanjo there. Fanjo, I think, playing a bit of a tactical game here, and he's got himself up into P2 there, has Nigel, but Fanjo there, we're going to have the DRS there down the main straight, down the Kemmel straight here. Let's have a look and see if he can be able to make any moves back into P2. We'll have to find out. Here comes Fanjo now down the straight. It's going to be close indeed. They're going to be down covering the inside. Is Nigel and the AlphaTauri. Down the outside goes Fanjo. He's going to try and hold it around the outside. There could be contact here, and that could be resulting in a spin. There's no contact. Well, I think it might have been a bit of a contact, but they managed to get themselves through unscathed. Thankfully, that's cost them a bit of time though to Beast. Almost 5 seconds there is the leader away from Nigel and Fanjo at the moment. Fanjo there, I think, has resigned himself there to losing out on that battle with Nigel there on the fresher medium compound tyres. He was not able to hold a candle there to the AlphaTauri for much longer. And down the order, we've got an issue there for Reflection. I think Reflection there at the top of the hill there has had an issue. He's let Smithy and Gordo go through. Unfortunately for Reflection there, he's cost. Oh, was Gordo? What's happened there? Gordo just slowed down at the end of the straight there. He just stopped. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Reflection almost into the back of him there, but fingers crossed. I'm not quite sure. There's technical issues there for Gordo. He's off the circuit. He's sliding around the corners as Craig Giles got himself back up into P15. Yellow flags, and I think it is for Gordo as well. Gordo's got technical issues there. I think he's slowing the car down. Hopefully he can get himself back to the pit lane. He's got a puncture, says Gordo in the comment section. So yeah, just needs to take it easy there. I'll tell you what you should do there, Gordo. Put the soft compound tyres on, I would say, and go for a faster lap point, because I think that is the only option available, unfortunately, at the moment. Now, is make sure you get to pit lane safely and get yourself back out in this race. Only a lap or so to go. Not too long to go in this race, so you can still stick it out for the final, potentially get the extra point as well. We'll have to wait and see as Gordo's been passed out by Vtod as well. Gordo struggling to get himself back to the pit lane. Unfortunately, big scenes there for Gordo. Real shame there for Gordo as well, because he was doing a good job there in this race. Down the order, Pot Stuff has got himself past Irvine into La Source. It's down the inside for Irvine. It's close indeed. I think he just needs to back off there and use the DRS there to pull himself along in the next phase. As they go over the top of the hill there, up the hill they go. Round the order, Nigel's got himself now down to 3.1 seconds. That gap is pouring down for Nigel compared to Beast. Here comes Equaz there. He couldn't get himself past Farf on this occasion there. Farf is pushing though, and Equaz is pushing even more. I think you can see there the Aston Martin really flying through the corners. Gordo's getting himself back to the pit lane almost, which is good news indeed. Round the order, Irvine there couldn't get himself back past the Red Bull, so he's managed to get himself, stays in P10 there. Does Irvine. Pot Stuff stays in P9 for the time being, but those 14 lap or medium compound tyres now for Irvine are going to be absolutely horrible, I would imagine, to drive on. That is as well. Dopey Lemons has caught up to the battle here as well. He's got the fresh soft compound tyres on, and he made a good strategy call there, I think, to pit onto the soft compound tyres to go even faster there to the end of the race. Wilson is in the pit lane for softs, as is Gordo as well. Danny sets the fastest lap of the race there on lap 21 as well. Good, or lap 20 for him. Good stuff indeed for Danny as well. He's stuck in this race and he's got the fastest lap point. Going his way for the time being. Farf has caught up to the back of Fangio as well. Those medium compound tyres for Fangio have completely dropped off a cliff, haven't they? Which we might expect to see from both the Haas drivers as well, which will be a shame there for Irvine, who would lose out on the points paying positions at this stage. Yeah, let's have a look and see what Farf and Fangio and Equaz can do in this battle here. Into turn one we go. It looks like Farf is already alongside before we even get to the... Oh, there's contact between the two of them there. That is unnecessary there from Farf. He didn't need to try and push the Haas that far off the circuit. He was going to get the move done anyway, I think, and that was a bit unnecessary there from Farf. He managed to both of them managed to get through unscathed, yeah, I would have to say that was on the AlphaTauri there. It's off the circuit goes Fangio. He's off the circuit completely there and into the wall, and Fangio is out of this race there. He has a DNF to the top of the hill there. A massive smash indeed. We'll have a look here from Bradfield's on board. You can see there the Haas driver stricken there on the exit at the top of the hill there. Unfortunately, that is it for Fangio. He's out of the points there. Dopey Lemons has been promoted into the top 10 as well now. But the penalty situation there for some drivers there will cost them the top 10 points. But a massive crash indeed for Fangio on the penultimate lap, or is the ultimate lap now, I should say. As Ultimate Beast there is leading the way, but he's going to be coming around now, looking very nice indeed for a victory here in Belgium. But what a smash there from Fangio. I don't think you can blame that one on Farf, but no, like I said, the bit before was a bit about Farf, but Gordo picked up a penalty as well, unfortunately for his efforts as well. Hopefully he can keep himself going in this one. As reflections off the circuit as well, not quite sure what is going on here. It seems like it's all falling apart there for a few drivers there on the last lap. Vtod there, we're going to see he's off the circuit there completely, his reflection as well. Not quite sure what the strategy is there, or how hard he was pushing through that one, but that is an interesting way to go off the circuit there. Dan Murphy there in P6 is trying to get himself after Dylan as well now. We're on the final lap, we're on the final quarter as Beast has won the race. I completely missed it, but 17 laps on those hard compound tyres. What a stint indeed from the McLaren driver. He's got the win there, a well-deserved victory as well from Ultimate Beast there. Really good strategy call there to get himself on the hard compound tyres in the first safety car to get himself to the end of the Grand Prix. 17 laps on those hard compound tyres. Fantastic result there for the McLaren driver and for the McLaren outfit as well. Nigel there in P2 almost got there 7/10 of a second there. If he didn't get held up by some drivers, he might have been able to get the race win, but he couldn't quite on his return there to the grid. Equaz there in P3 has got himself back on the podium places after it looked like he potentially could get a win here, but he got held up again by some of the other drivers there who were yet to make their stops. Farf there in P4, and then Dylan there at P5. Dan Murphy in P6 as well. Good stuff from him as well. Bradfield in P7. Dopey Lemons there in P8. He did get himself back up into some good points there in the Alpine after making that extra stop there for the soft compound tyres as well. Pot Stuff in P9. Irvine in P10. He did get his points there. 16 laps there. I think he has got a puncture as well. potentially. 16 laps there on the medium compound tyres gets the final point of this race. Cassell there in P11, Craig Hart in P12, Smithy Almighty P13, Todd in P14, Wilson I think will come across the line in P15, Danny there in P16, and then we've got Gordo there P17. Unfortunately, retirements were Kamara there on lap 5, Fandra there on lap 21, and Reflection also on lap 20. On lap 22 I think was Reflection. So that is that for the Grand Prix. Let's have a look at the fastest lap. It was set by Danny, so Danny has got the extra point, as Gordo just needs to make sure he crosses the finish line to be classified in this race, that is. But there we go, Gordo there coming round at the final corner there to finish the race. What a race it has been indeed, as well as he comes across the line, or he does just about try and cross the line, but he's going to have some wing damage there I think. So that Alpine there is need of repair there for Gordo, but nonetheless a great race indeed there from all the drivers there. We managed to get to the finish line. Like I said, it was a race of attrition. We saw in gold last night. It is a difficult one to finish, and fantastic racing from the guys who managed to get to the finish line as well. Unlucky there as well for Fangio and Reflection retiring on the final lap. But nonetheless, what a race indeed. As there we go, we can see our race winner there, Ultimate Beast there, does get himself onto the podium, and with a race victory there, that lovely wreath around the shoulders of the McLaren driver as he celebrates his first place, and another race win there for Beast there. He had dropped off the podium there for a few races, but now he's back on the top step, and we'll have to wait and see if he can carry on that form into next week as well. But what a race win there for the McLaren there. Great strategy call there, and sticking at those hard compound tyres for 17 laps to get to the end of the race, almost the full race distance to be fair, on those hard compound tyres, as he celebrates in style there with the champagne and with his team. Of course, Nigel there in P2 in the AlphaTauri, and Equaz in P3 in the Aston Martin. Good stuff indeed. We'll have a quick rundown there of the classification there. Those are your top three. Farf in P4, Dylan P5, Dan Murphy P6, Bradfield there in P7 from 19th on the grid as well. Good stuff indeed from him. Dopey Lemons there P8, Pot Stuff in P9. Irvine there did get the final point there in P10 as well. Good stuff indeed for him, battling hard as well on those old medium compound tyres. Cassell there P11, just outside the points. Craig R P12, Smithy P13, Todd P14, Wilson P15, Danny there in P16, but does get the fastest lap point as well, which is good news for him, an extra point for him. Gordo there P17, just outside, unfortunately not just outside but the points, but he did a good job of sticking at it. Reflection there, Fandra there retiring on lap 22 and 21 respectively, and Kamara there retiring on lap 5 at the very beginning of this race, unfortunately for him. But there is your classification there for the Belgian Grand Prix. It's been a great race indeed. What I'll do quickly is jump into the commentary box, and we'll jump into the other session so they can see if I can get me mic sorted, and then we can get the interviews underway. Hopefully the drivers can hear me, and I think we've got potentially we've got Equaz in here, have we? We can give a quick interview for the driver who finished in P3.
Yes, how we doing?
Equaz is here. Good stuff. Good stuff. How was that race for you? Because I think there's a few strategy calls there that didn't go your way in the end, and you looked like you were going to be in command of the race at one point.
Yeah, I was really begging for another safety car or anything like a virtual safety, but it never came in the end.
It was unlucky because, like I said, at the first stint when you're on the hard compound tyres, you had almost a 2-second gap there in the first few laps there to Nigel, and then you just sort of looked like you were going to disappear off into the distance at one stage, and then the safety car came out. Did that? I'm guessing it majorly affected your strategy, but did you decide that it was going to be that was the way you were going to go? You're going to carry on and stay out on the hard compound tyres straight away, or were you thinking about whether you were going to make a pit stop or not?
Well, I see Nigel pit, I think it was like lap 13, and that was a really good call. I wish that I had done it sooner, or at least maybe the lap after, but my strategy was just hoping for another safety car, to be honest, which obviously never come because everyone's too clean here. That's the problem.
Well, it was a good race indeed, one to watch back for sure, but once again, still no harm done. You're still back on the podium places, so familiar position there for yourself. We've seen you on the podium. I think, well, out of everybody, in fact, in total of ALR, I think you've got the most podiums this season already compared to anybody else. So yeah, fantastic stuff indeed. Once again for yourself getting on the top 3 steps. So hopefully we'll see that as well. What's your thoughts for it's for Zandvoort there? Netherlands is the next race next week. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I love Zandvoort. It's one of my favourite tracks, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, see how we go. Hopefully another podium. Fingers crossed.
Good stuff indeed. We'll be looking forward to that. Getting you another interview there next week, hopefully. And have we got Nigel there
Thank you.
in the chat as well? Is Nigel there, P2?
Yes.
Nigel, on your return there from your lovely holidays, how was that for you? Because of course, I think you might have been looking for the win at the last stint there.
Yeah, it was really great. The pace was very good. The car was in the first stint before the safety car really struggling, but at the end, after the safety car, the car was just fine, and the pace was really great.
Well, it looked like it was back to normal ways for yourself, even after the 3-week break that you've had. But no, it was good racing indeed from yourself as well. Lots of battles through the field as well. But yeah, what's your thoughts there on the safety car there? Did it change the strategy that you were going to be implementing? I think you did make a pit stop, didn't you, on lap 5 when the safety car came out originally?
No, the safety car did not mess up my strategy. I just pitted in lap 12 for the mediums, but I saw a big train behind me with Ford in it. So I just wanted to pit early, so I will be in front of the train.
Yeah, and you heard there from Ekwaz as well that making that stop, I think it was lap 13 there for the fresh mediums, was definitely the right call, and almost got the win as well. It was very close indeed, 7/10 in the end to Ultimate Beast.
Yeah,
did a great job. But what's your thoughts? I have to say, a home circuit there next week. Luckily, you're back from holiday in time for that. What's your thoughts for Zandvoort next week?
Yeah, I hope to do the same. Just finish in front of Fangio and Eagles. That's the most important thing.
Good stuff indeed. Of course, extending the championship lead there again. Now that you're back there, you have of course finished ahead of them both there tonight. So we're both more points there for yourself in the championship fight. I'm not quite sure if Ultimate Beast did join us in the party.
I'm here.
Is he here?
I'm here, yeah.
Oh, you are here. Yeah, we are a bit quiet there. Can you turn the mic up a little bit? But we can just about hear you though. So good stuff indeed. Firstly, congratulations on your race win. But what was your thoughts going into that? Because you started P6. What were you thinking at the beginning? Were you thinking that you can go for the win, or were you thinking that let's just aim for a podium here?
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, all good.
Yes. I never start on hards because I never really have enough pace to get up to the top normally. I always go on mediums, hopefully for a safety car, which in my way it worked out well. And I don't know if hard tyres gonna last that long, but well, it just about did. Had to tyre save at the end. That's why I was so slow at the end. But yeah, I'm just glad I got my first win really in a silver tier.
No, it was absolutely great strategic calls there from yourself, unlike a Ferrari out of it. But you made a great decision there to get on the hard compound tyres and go to the end as well. It was very close indeed from Nigel. Did you think potentially you might lose the lead to Nigel in the last few laps?
Oh, it was possibly losing it on the last long straight, but my tyres was 78, sorry.
Near enough to a puncture. We saw Rowan Corder there get a puncture on the hard compound tyres on lap 18 lap old hards as well, so it was close indeed there, but a fantastic win for yourself as well. And what's your thoughts there finally there before we go into Zandvoort, into the Netherlands next week as well?
It's probably my second strongest track, Netherlands, so I'm hoping for at least a podium this next week.
Good stuff.
But yeah, my qualifying today was not good. So.
We potentially will see these. We'll have these three back on the podium there for next week. It sounds like they're all confident for Zandvoort. So good stuff indeed. We'll hopefully see all three of you back on the podium in a week's time. There, of course, silver in a week's time. We're going to be racing at Zandvoort as well. We have got, of course, the 100% league. We've got bronze tomorrow night at Belgium, and then we've got the preview of Zandvoort at the 100% league there on the Wednesday night as well this week. So stay tuned. There's Belgium there for bronze coming up tomorrow, and then the Netherlands preview there from the 100% league there on the Wednesday as well. And then we're going to be in Zandvoort there for gold, silver and bronze from Sunday, Monday and Tuesday next week, as well as the 100% league there taking on, I think it's Jeddah and the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, ahead of a preview of the actual F1 in the Saudi Arabian Kingdom as well. So stay tuned for that. Plenty more action coming up on ALR, and we'll see you soon.